Welcome to another day of adventures with Wes and Jeff, and we are in Lassen Volcanic National Park, which is located in Northern California at the northern end of the Sacramento Valley, where the Cascade Mountain Range meets the Sierra Nevada Mountains to the south and the Great Basin Desert to the east. It is 158 miles due north of Sacramento, California, and 52 miles east of Redding and Red Bluff, California. Lassen Volcanic National Park was established to protect the active volcanic landscape surrounding Lassen Peak following its most recent eruption in 1914 and 1915. It preserves unique hydrothermal features including hot springs, fumaroles, and mudpats, dramatic volcanic formations, and diverse natural, scenic, and wilderness around Lassen Peak and the nearby Cinder Cone section of the park. The dominant feature of this park is the 10,457-foot tall Lassen Peak, the largest plug dome volcano in the world and the southernmost volcano in the Cascade Mountain Range. This 106,452 acre park was established as two separate national monuments designated by President Theodore Roosevelt back in 1907 as the Cinder Cone National Monument and Lassen Peak National Monument. Starting in May of 1914 and lasting until 1917, a series of minor and major volcanic eruptions occurred on Lassen Peak. Because of this eruptive activity and the area's volcanic beauty, Lassen Peak and Cinder Cone and the surrounding area was established as a national park on August the 9th, 1916. Making it our 15th national park in the United States. Lassen attracts 450,000 annual visitors, and Lassen Volcanic National Park is unique in that it is one of the only places in the world where all four types of volcanoes can be found. That's a plug dome, a shield, cinder cone, and stratovolcano. The main road through the park is Lassen Park Highway, a 30-mile segment of California State Route 89. It was constructed between 1925 and 1931 and designed in the National Park Service rustic style, intended to blend in with the natural landscape and provide scenic access to major points of interest in the park. Significant work and improvements to the road were done by the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, during the 1930s. Due to the high elevation of this park and due to the extreme snowfall, with some sections accumulating over 40 feet of snow in the winter months, the road is closed to traffic from mid-November until late May or early June each year. Stick with us today and we'll show you some of the things to see and do here at this interesting park. The first stop is the Kamyamani Visitor Center, which is located just 1 mile from the southwest entrance. The Yomyamani is the native Mountain Madu phrase for Lassen Peak, meaning snow mountain. This 8,400 square foot visitor center features the national park traditional rustic design and offers an information desk staffed with park rangers to answer questions, exhibit hall explaining the unique geological features about the park, an auditorium, an amphitheater showing a free educational video, a park store, dining area with a cafe, an outdoor patio, and a gift shop. As we traveled along the scenic highway up in elevation to 7,000 feet level, we stopped at a prominent hydrothermal area called the Sulphur Works, which features a 5-foot wide boiling mud pot, steaming streams, and a hissing steam vents called fumaroles. This vibrant, chemically altered soil area of the park sits in the middle of what was once an ancient volcano called Mount Tehama that once reached 11,000 feet tall. Hot magma 5 miles below heats the underground water to the boiling point and is displayed right beside the roadside. The area was named Sopan's Sulphur Works after Matthias B. Sopan, an Austrian immigrant who mined minerals here in 1865. When mining slowed down, he transitioned this area into a private tourist destination with hot mineral baths, a gas station, and the Sulphur Works Inn. The National Park Service purchased the lands from the Sopan family in 1952. Stop number 3 is a small pullout located on a bend on the scenic drive. To the west, views of Diamond Peak, a 7,968-foot plug dome volcano peak, serves as a remnant of the ancient towering Mount Tehama that once was here, also known as the Broke-Off Mountain. Located at the bottom of a steep valley lays an active hydrothermal area with the Little Hot Springs Creek running through it. From this overlook, and with the help of binoculars, you can view distant steam vents, boiling springs, and chemically altered terrain. Wildlife frequents this area with no trails into the valley. Emerald Lake is our stop number 5. This shallow, high alpine lake is situated at 8,100 feet in elevation in a glacial curved bowl, and best known for its striking green-colored waters caused by the abundant algae and vegetation. There are no fish in this lake, but back in the 1930s, park rangers stocked Emerald Lake with large rainbow trout to allow visitors to watch and feed the fish as if it were a natural roadside aquarium. The next stop showcases a 2-for-1, the first being a scenic view of Broke-Off Mountain with educational displays, and the second feature of this stop is the trailhead of Bumpus Hill, one of the most scenic and impressive hydrothermal hiking trails in the park. Broke-Off Mountain is the second highest peak in this national park with an elevation of 9,235 feet above sea level. It is the most prominent remaining fragment of a massive ancient volcano that once towered here over 11,500 feet tall and 12 miles wide in diameter. It dominated this region and existed here over 400,000 years ago. Scientists refer to this as Mount Tehama. Bumpus Hill Trailhead is a 1.5-mile one-way or 3-mile round-trip hike with a series of raised boardwalks over fumaroles, which are steaming vents, hot springs, and mud pots, which are acidic hot springs filled with mud. There are 8 of these type of areas within Lassen, the largest and grandest being Bumpus Hill, named after Kendall Van Hook Bumpus, an early settler, explorer, and mountain man who fell through into a boiling mud pot in 1865 and had to have his leg amputated due to his injury and scalding. Bumpus Hill is the largest and most vigorous hydrothermal area in Lassen National Park, covering 16 acres in size at an elevation of 8,200 feet, often described as a miniature Yellowstone due to its concentrated geothermal activity. Along the hike, the park's largest fumarole is the Big Boiler, which emits steam at a whopping 322 degrees Fahrenheit, making it the hottest fumarole in the world. Many bubbling pots of gray and black mud created by steam rising through acidic groundwater form mud pots, and the whole scenic basin is cast in a vibrant colors, a striking blue, emerald green, and orange and yellow caused by varying minerals such as sulfur, pyrite, and iron oxides. All of these features are fueled by a magma chamber located 3 miles below the surface, which superheats a large underground reservoir. This is an informative sign that talks about pluck and carry. This big boulder doesn't match the other rocks in this terrain. If we think of volcanoes as mountain builders, then glaciers are mountain remodelers. This lone rock pays tribute to the rearranging forces of glaciers. Glaciers carve, grind, and excavate as they recede and progress, taking with them everything in their path. Our next stop on our adventure through this interesting park was a visit to Helen Lake that sits at the base of Lassen Peak. This high elevation glacial lake, known as a tarn, sits at the 8,200 level and is renowned for its striking sapphire blue water and nearly perfect mirror reflections of the snow-capped peak on calm days. Right next door, at the highest point on the park road, we arrived at 8,512 feet and the trailhead to the 2.5-mile hike to the summit of Lassen Peak, this plug dome volcano and namesake of this national park. The hike up to the summit is one of the most popular hikes in the park and ascends an elevation gain of 1,957 feet and on many hikers' bucket lists. Lassen Peak is named after Peter Lassen, a Danish blacksmith and guide who pioneered trails for settlers through this area in the 1840s and 1850s. As we descend from Lassen Peak down the park highway, we snake our way to a large flat spot in the landscape called Upper Meadow and the Kings Creek Scenic Pullout, where we officially are at the halfway point on this 30-mile adventure. Here we found a large picnic area with fantastic views of Lassen Peak and the meandering Kings Creek as it winds its way through the meadow. This area has several hiking trails that start here, including the 2.3-mile round-trip popular Kings Creek Falls Trail. Traveling 5 miles down this scenic road, we see a different perspective of this park's diverse ecosystem as we move from high-altitude volcanic peaks to lush meadow landscapes. This stop provides access to the Hidden Hat Creek Meadow via a crosswalk and 3-mile hike to Paradise Meadows. As Hat Creek crosses under the roadway, there's a scenic waterfall that cascades near the viewpoint. Just past Hat Creek, we came upon a spot in the park called the Devastated Area. This is a trailhead for a half-a-mile self-guided trail showing forest recovery from the 1915 volcano eruption known as the Blast Zone. Informational markers, signs, and landmarks dot the trail, serving as a physical record of the devastation and evidence of the massive mudflows called lahars and volcanic blasts that leveled this whole forest of all living things just over a century ago. This area around Lassen Volcanic National Park is the ancestral home to 4 primary Native American tribes: the Asuwani, the Mountain Maidu, the Yani, and the Yahi. Due to the harsh winter conditions in this region and the higher elevation, these tribes typically only used the area seasonally for hunting small game and deer, fishing in the streams and lakes, and gathering pine nuts, acorns, berries, roots, and seeds. Stop number 12 takes us to Hot Rock. This 30-ton rock is a large piece of dacite lava that was inside Lassen Peak's crater prior to the volcano's eruption in 1915. Just prior to the eruption, pressure due to the pent-up gases and hot lava finally came to a peak, sending this huge boulder careening down the mountainside, along with other hot lava rocks, melting the snow and creating a huge avalanche, moving this hot rock 5 miles to this location where it settled, sizzled, and cooled. This rock once had an internal temperature of over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit when it was ejected from the volcano vent. Eyewitnesses stated that this rock was sizzling in the water and was too hot to touch several days after the eruption. The Sunflower Flat area of the park marks the crossing of the Nobles Immigrant Trail, part of the California National Historic Trail used by thousands of immigrants and early pioneer settlers migrating and headed west during the 1850s to the gold rush fields in California. In 1851, gold seeker William H. Nobles stumbled upon this easier, more direct Northern California route, ending in Shasta. Despite its superiority and gradual ascent, this route could not compete with the more well-established and more publicized California trails further south over Donner Pass. Stop number 14 brings us to the Chaos Crags viewpoint. The jumbled rocks here are the result of a series of 3 rockfall avalanches that occurred around 1660. The first and largest avalanche covered about 2.5 square miles and created this undiluted landscape. Two short, easy hiking trails are located across the street from the Loomis Museum near the northwest entrance of this park, near Manzanita Lake area. Reflection Lake Trail is a short 0.7 of a mile easy loop hike that circles this picturesque serene lake to the northern shore, often seeing the reflections of Lassen snow-capped peak in the water. Second hike is the Lily Pond Nature Trail. This hike is 0.6 of a mile, which meanders through the forest, wrapping around the lily pond with pads lining its surface. This trail follows the shoreline of Reflection Lake for 0.10 of a mile, and there are many numbered signposts along this interpretive trail that corresponds to the numbered description in the Lily Pond Trail pamphlet you can obtain at the Loomis Museum before you start the hike. The nearby historic Loomis Museum offers a glimpse into the park's history and is staffed with park rangers to hand out current visitor information and brochures. This native stone building housing this museum was built in 1927 by B.F. Loomis. The B.F. stands for Benjamin Franklin Loomis. He built it to display his collection of park photography. He was present and captured images of the dramatic volcano eruption from 1915. He and his wife Estella Loomis donated this building, the small seismograph building located next door, as well as their 40-acre surrounding tract of lands to the park surface in 1929 as a gift for the public enjoyment and education. The museum displays historic photographs and a seismograph in operation under glass where it records the Earth's slightest movements. Its pendulum-mounted needle inks out lines across the perpetually revolving spool of paper. My personal favorite area of Lassen National Park is the Manzanita Lake area, which is located here at the northwest entrance to the park. This beautiful lake is so delightful. I brought my kayak along on this visit just so that I could paddle on this lake and view Lassen Peak in its reflective, clean alpine waters. The views are stunning from the north shore, which you can access by taking the 2-mile loop path that follows around the shoreline of this lake. The Manzanita Lake area has the largest campground in the park with 179 campsites with cabins, the Loomis Museum, a gift shop, restrooms, and hiking trails. Hi everyone, we are at the Lassen National Forest and we're dispersed camping, boondocking, just northeast of the park entrance on the northwest side, which is the Manzanita Lake side. So we'll be enjoying the park today. So just wanted to show you the campsite that we have along Hat Creek. And it's where Hat Creek and Lost Creek come together. So we got this wonderful site. It's nice and large that we were able to park our rig at last night, and our nearest neighbor is right there, and then we also have a couple other neighbors that are across the creek, but through the brush. So this is going to be a wonderful day at the Lassen National Park, and we will be spending the day, and the dogs are excited as well. They won't get to swim in the lakes, but we will take them on little hikes, and they'll be able to enjoy the surroundings as much as we will. The next day, we wanted to explore the northeastern side of Lassen Volcanic National Park in the Butte Lake area. This area features a unique volcanic-rich setting at the 6,053-foot elevation level. Butte Lake has lava flows that have cascaded into the lake. This area is famous for the Cinder Cone hiking trail, fantastic lava beds, and the painted dunes. The Butte Lake area is home to the second largest campground in Lassen National Park, with over 100 campsites and many recreational activities around the lake, such as paddling, swimming, fishing, with non-motorized boats only. Butte Lake is a serene lake, irregularly shaped due to its southwestern shore is comprised of a large and strange formation of fantastic lava beds which flowed out of the earth over 350 years ago when the nearby Cinder Cone was formed. The fantastic lava beds are a jagged field of ballistic rock originated from the original eruption of the base of the nearby 700-foot Cinder Cone. These huge, jagged, blocky lava chunks contrast with the surroundings and caused significant damage when the eruption occurred. The lava flows were so extensive they dammed the local streams, directly resulting in the creation of nearby Snag Lake and contributing to the formation of Butte Lake. I decided to hike to the top of the Cinder Cone, which is a 2-mile one-way hike with views of the Cinder Cone and nearby dunes. The hiking trail up to the 700-foot tall Cinder Cone starts at Butte Lake and meanders through a forest of Jeffrey pine trees, which provides some shade before the trail enters the exposed volcanic landscape. At 1.2 miles, you reach the fork at the base of the Cinder Cone. It is at this point that you see the task ahead is going to be challenging and steep. The hike up is over 200 feet in less than a half a mile, with a 30% grade upward climb over loose volcanic sand and pebbles. Every step you take forward results in a half step back due to the lack of footing. Hi everyone, I'm in Lassen National Park at the Cinder Cone Trail, and that's the painted dunes behind me there and the fantastic lava beds. And I'm about ready to ascend up this 700-foot Cinder Cone and join it up to the top and take some photos, and then I will ascend on the backside. So This is going to be quite a little challenge and should be a lot of fun. Once you arrive at the top, you are rewarded with views down into the Cinder Cone volcano. Great views of Lassen Peak off in the distance to the west, into the park, and the painted dunes and fantastic lava beds on the east side. The Cinder Cone was formed by a buildup of explosive gas-rich basaltic andesite which erupted between the years of 1630 and 1666. This cinder cone was built from accumulating loose volcanic rock called scoria, as well as ash thrown from the vent. This explosive event created this 700-foot cone with a double crater and accompanied by lava flows that created the nearby painted dunes and blocked the water in the local creeks to form both the Butte and Snag Lakes. The painted dunes formed by the lava, the different types of lava. So this cinder cone was formed back in the 1650s when I think this all happened. That lake right there is Snag Lake, and that's my next destination after this cinder cone. So there's a cinder cone itself. It's pretty deep. You can hike to the bottom. I'm not going to do it today, but I'm hiking by myself, solo hiking. So it's about 12 miles for me today. So this is only the first mile and a half. So hands down, this has to be one of the most interesting places for topography in the world. You got a lake there, which is Snag Lake. You got this painted dunes that's absolutely beautiful with the light glowing on it. Then you have this fantastic lava bed that flows right into Butte Lake. All right here in Northern California at Lassen National Park. Loving it today. And that's the view of Mount Lassen from a distance in the cinder cone. The painted dunes are truly a unique landscape that looks like it has been pulled straight from a watercolor painting. The red and orange vibrant color blotches cover the rolling terrain with verdant trees sprinkled throughout the range. The painted dunes are actually pumice fields formed from oxidized layers of volcanic ash. The ash became so oxidized and colorful because it fell atop a hotbed of lava flows while it was still hot. This is one of nature's masterpieces and a must-see to appreciate its beauty. The descent down the backside to the south is a steep 22-degree, 40% grade through deep, loose sand-like ash. Many of the hikers with me on this hike described it as being like a downhill ski experience or constant slide with each step. Okay, descending down the backside of the cinder cone, this has to be the steepest descent that I've ever made from this high as a point. I am literally sliding each and every step as I'm going down this cinder cone trail on the backside to make my way over to Snag Lake. So quite a challenge, but well worth it. As I get to flatter ground, I continue on the trail over to Snag Lake with the lava bed layers piled on the left side of the trail. As I round the corner, Snag Lake comes into full view. Hi everyone, I am in Lassen National Forest, actually in the National Park at Snag Lake. It's number 381 on my list of over 500 lakes that I'm going to be visiting that are 50 acres or larger in California, in the state of California. This is Snag Lake. It's, like I said, in Lassen National Park, and it is the second largest lake that's within the park boundaries. It's 476 acres at an elevation of 6,050 feet. The northern shoreline is dammed and lined with sponge-like porous lava rock with tiny holes in each one, part of the fantastic lava beds. The water from Snag Lake does not flow out via a surface river or creek like traditional lakes drain. Instead, it seeps beneath the fantastic lava beds to Butte Lake. Snag Lake got its name for the many pine tree snags, which is a name for dead trees trapped in the water after its creation over 300 years ago when the lava flows created this natural dam. This interesting and bright red flower-looking plant was along the shoreline of Snag Lake. It is called a snow plant. It emerges from the forest floor shortly after the snow melts and feeds off of fungi in the conifer roots. As I leave the shoreline of Snag Lake, I make my way along the forested trail to a series of small remote lakes, the first one being Rainbow Lake, then Lower Twin Lake, then Upper Twin Lake. On my way to these lakes, I cross over the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a 2,650-mile Mexico to Canada West Coast long-distance hiking trail that takes hikers 5 months to complete. Pacific Crest Trail, also known as the PCT for short, passes through 25 national forests, 7 national parks, and numerous wilderness areas as it traverses the West Coast mountain ranges. It starts at the Mexico border with California, near Campo, California, and ends at Manning Park, British Columbia, Canada. Many hikers use sections of this scenic trail each year, but a bucket list for many avid hikers is to do a through hike, which involves walking the entire trail in one season. Due to the winter snow conditions at high elevations on this trail, most hikers start at the Mexico border and hike south to north, typically in the months of April to early May, and then they conclude in Canada in October. It takes a tremendous amount of planning, stamina, and permits to complete the whole process. Out of the thousands of annual permits issued, To wannabe finishers, only between 600 to 800 attempts, or about 25% of the permit holders, actually complete the full trail each year. These small lakes, the first being Rainbow Lake, are serene and tranquil. It was very pleasant to just spend quiet time relaxing my tired legs by the water's edge and taking in the beautiful surroundings. Despite the harsh volcanic activity in this area, Lassen Volcanic National Park is a beautiful park with lots of backcountry. It has over 25,000 acres of old-growth forest and over 50 lakes. I hiked back and completed my loop trail to Butte Lake as we continued to visit the southeastern part of Lassen Volcanic National Park to the Juniper Lake area. On the way, we took in great distance views of both Lassen Peak and Mount Shasta, towering over the landscape and visible over 100 miles to the northwest. In order to enter the southeastern portion of this national park by car, you must exit the park on the east side and take Chester-Warner Valley Road out of the town of Chester, California, to access Juniper Lake and the hiking trail to Horseshoe Lake. Juniper Lake is 592 acres in size and is the largest lake in Lassen Volcanic National Park, and it is known for its crystal clear snow-fed waters, swimming, and kayaking. This lake is in a secluded primitive setting with a small campground located on the eastern shoreline of the lake. 18 campsites, first come first serve, and a group campground. I took the 1.4 mile one-way or 2.8 mile round-trip hiking trail from Juniper Lake up to the beautiful, picturesque Horseshoe Lake. Once you hike to the Horseshoe Lake, there is a ranger station log cabin not far from the shoreline. This rustic-style log cabin was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1920s and 30s and is now used for a fire guard station. If you enjoyed this video and our tour of Lassen Volcanic National Park, please hit the like button and subscribe button below, and follow us on all of our adventures to all 63 national parks. Whatever you're doing today, get out to the great outdoors and do something that makes you smile.